to be folded as you can see starting from the right. Moving to the left seam, standing in the midly and, again from the left side towards the middle and, continue my cutting process with vertical separations, thicker, herium. Applying B cutting, accordance with the E thickness of my finger E, I touch your scalp to the bottom so I touch my finger on the skin of the hair. Andy continued to process finger-thick cuts after making his first short like that. 2. I'm creating the distinction. I'm creating horizontal separations. So I created a horizontal distinction and then with vertical separation C. I continue my haircut at 45 degrees starting from the right. I'm coming to the middle. This timey coming from the left side D, I continue, so from the right to the middle, from left to middle, so always hairnite in the middle, as short nessim. Applying a 45-degree angle here, 3 now, by creating upright distinctions. Distinction also, I divided it again. I created one diagonal distinction, and comb the hair, according to the exit. Placement, I cut it at an angle of 45 liras to Guinea. I created a vertical separation and I see my guide. At the bottom, I always follow my guidesso, the hair, on the bottom after seeing the hair point I cudium, adjusting the angle so it's 45 degrees greeting, an angle I definitely say when I create a 45 lira angle. The back of the hair is short, so there are longer sections from the top. Directly E. If I cut it according to the short hair, how can I not create a 45 lira angle? It happens this time it's short on the bottom and the short on the top are the same size. It happens, and it will be short please when I make an angle of 45 steel. See the short section at the bottom V. I cut 45 steel at an angle's top stays longer, the bottom is still short compared to him. I keep going like this and elong sections on the right and left sides on the back E with short partas. You can see forming the diagonal separation again 45 degrees. Short from the front E, short from the back, one extending forward die. Create the viewers, you can see so. The front is long, and the back is short and folded as you can see. From the top to the ear level so, I created a coronation. I make one distinction from one ear to the other, or normally, everyone, so 10,000. Crown separation, this EA after creating a crown separation, I create a vertical separation of the rest of the back end. This distinction is vertical search first from behind as you can see. With the hair length, I cut before him putting it together, but this hair size is also the bottom one from the bottom up 451 cut from the inside out at a degree angle. I cut with point I see the hair spot I cut before and cut from the inside out. These upper sides are longer than the lower sides are shorter and the volume makes it bulky. So short hair pushing long hirand one fuller image occurs Heraguania. A distinction from the peak of the herium creating gin 1 guinea from the hair point. I cut before this time. I lift the hair up 90 degrees but again at the hair point I cut before. 1 I see my guide, and so I cut it from short to long at an angle of 45 degrees after. Cutting in the middle left side is crossed again. I cut it at an angle of 45 degrees. The front is longer and the back is shorter than Hyman fold 1 image. Yugatas, you can see herium adjusting with E short sections on the back. I made a cross distinction to the front, starting with the shortest section at the back toe, the front at an angle of 45 degrees. I Make your hair grow forward in my cutting process. I continue with the sharpening, cutting technique with a straight scissor stroke. I continue scanning backwards. The reason I scan backwards is in the backy scan the back for scanning and short sections ISO E because I cut it in accordance with my cover from short to longend E. Inside I created one angle front is longer and the back is shorter. One image a hair design that you can easily use. This summer's weakest is short. The front is long. If you want to get a haircut like this, you can reach me on social media. Addresses me in the description section of my video. So by reaching my living room. From here I work by appointment as an appointmentee haircutting service. By coming to my salon, by making an appointmentee long service signed other hairdressing services you can get servicized hairy. I use pivot point technique as a haircut, literally pivot point to hairy one guide for us by applying this Gwitty Pixie Bob haircut, starting from the nape part with the E-file, scissors gradual light, E-hard scissor blowsy, to soften the ends, to get its hardness in, thinning the transition of hair, here too. It's softer ease here, with E-elephant, scissor softening the ends of the hair, starting as if the cut starts again from the neck. I thin the ends slightly with E-file scissors. I don't apply it to the bottom of the hair, only to the ends and vertical from there. By doing your hair, we get one image that thins the nape parts. Maria's, you can see her at the ends of the hair, not the bottoms of the hair also, because we did the softening process. Hair provides one more homogeneous transition and gets a soft one look. Of course, you also have every hair, so there is no thinning process. Not thinner hair, but thicker Andy. In thick hair you can apply step by step up the ends of the hair. I keep thinning. If you want to watch my other videos, to me video my channel has a videos section. From there I have many categories of videos. From here you can also watch my videos by hair grows. As you can see, I'm coming to the long section, and between fingers I take and thin the ends of the hair first. I eliminate one and I lift it opened, thinning the ends of the hair. Your likes very important to us. Our channel is developing day by day and to reach large audiences. I would be very pleased if you definitely like my video, because if you like my video to other friends and other people too, so I recommend this video reaches many people when it reaches so the technique I apply. So friends who want to learn learning, and ladies looking for hairstylisty, my video want to get service from Methis, or that way. If you like my video and subscribe to my channel, would be very pleased. Likes and comments are also important, so if you have questions in the comment part of my videos so you can leave the comment section as answer, as I know the answery questions on your Mindusi. Continues my thinning process gradually. Like hath last front part has Araveth front part too. You don't use much, do you? I apply a slight thinning process and shaping process. We will pass after finishing the process from here. Also, with one nice blow dry process finished our hair design, we will be friends. Like my videos and subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to be right now. Pretty one way reached the audience. Thanks to your audience is growing every day. New friends join our channel and our designs learned and seen them, adding some movement to the front of the hair, her to the end part. No Little EI did one tiny folding. The front of the hair finalito make your fall beautiful here. Are the hair cutting techniques I have learned for you. When my tongue turns to you so, I'm trying to explain as much as I can. Hope you guys are satisfied here. I comb back slightly, and your hair so I'm checking if there is a mistaken ear customer's ear. Backward say design that he can use comfortably when he throws his back to bay. Give a little touche. Our hall is in Istanbul, Beylikdüzü, working on an appointment to come to our hall description, part of my video-y social media. Addresses are available by reaching Haircoming to my hall haircut coloring and other hairdressing services. You can also get services you can see. Our model has a short story front. One design. Hope you like it. See you for now. Take good care of yourself.
Hello friends, how to make a bob haircut that stretches forward to you today. I will tell you in detail. First, show the long hair of our Model 1. I cut it down. I take this long density straight and create distinctions of our model. I will create a profile distinction as the first distinction profile separation from the beginning of my forehead. Straight one, you have separated to the end of the neck. Separation profile separation. We say, friends, after creating this distinction, the second distinction is also crown separation, also one by ear. In the separate distinction, we have separated until the other ear. While separating this coronation, we put our comb from the beginning of the guinea forehead and the point where your back touches. We create the distinction. Here is an easy one discrimination technique. You can also apply this crown separation and my profile to divide the hair into 4 main sections. Is the technique we have applied. Very comfortable in this technique one way. You can cut the hair into pieces. After creating this distinction from the nape part, to form the basis of hair 1. We create horizontal separation. This will be our guide, so your hair is short. We will determine your height here from the nape part by creating one horizontal distinction, starting from the middle part of the hair 1. I create vertical separation and the part of the hair we will cut. Finger sharp horse cutting technique. I cut it with a straight scissor stroke. After cutting I align the left side section in the same way. Then I align the section on the right in the same way. Here's the back part. Straight one sharp line cutting technique. I applied the cutting process. I determined the length of the hair here, and the next layer of 1 guinea horizontal one. I separate by creating a distinction. After creating this distinction, the guinea, From the middle part, I create one vertical separation starting from the hair size we cut before. After seeing it from the bottom by aligning, I cut it and the bottom is the same. I cut it straight one way. Here, after forming the basis of the hair, your hair, folding process to other parts, I will apply in the next section 1. I will create your angles. Yes, friends. Here, I separate it from forward again. Forward, forward, our customers head forward 1E. From the bottom after applying. E1 I determine it with the hair die I cut before and cutting process. I'm applying it here. I'm determining the length of the hair. Clear one way. After cutting the same size. E, then creating a distinction again. I will apply the folding process. I determined the length of the hair here. And light on hair. E, I will gain texture. Now I'm going to split it in half again. And nape guinea 1. E this time by creating one horizontal distinction. Hair E vertical 45-degree angles. E, it gives texture to the back of the hair. The first technique we cut is to determine the length of the hair. I determined the length of the hair here. And now, as you can see, applying one angle of vertical 45 degrees, I will cut your hair first from the hair point I cut. E here, according to the exit direction of 90 hair. 130730 degree 1 angle. I'm lifting your hair up. I cut it, then I will create one vertical distinction. Here I see the hair spot I cut before. I'm cutting now. I'm creating one vertical distinction here. And E 45 degree 1 from the hair point I cut, creating an angle. Hair cutting continues. As you can see, I determined the hair and point. I cut it at an angle of 45 degrees. Here, we will create a slight bump on the back of the hair. So we will provide one light transition with folding process. I cut the left side. Now the right side is the same, forming 45-degree vertical, 145-degree angle. I cut the hair gradually by separating it one way. And one in the next section. In the same way with a vertical 45-degree angle by seeing the hair point we cut before. Same way. I create the angle after a 45-degree angle. Point cutting technique. E I cut with cutting technique. I created a horizontal angle of 145 degrees here. I see the hair from the hair point I cut before. Here with the point cutting technique. I'm cutting then. At an angle of 45 degrees. I continue my cutting process again. Your guinea hair on the top one, seeing the hair point I cut before, at an angle of 45 degrees. with point cutting technique. With the point cutting technique, I continue my cutting process. I went to the left side of the hair. On the left side of the hair, guinea, I created one horizontal separation and suitable for hair length on the nape, with a slight 45-degree angle on the sides, in the front of your hair. Short forward from the neck one to get the image. Forward at a 45-degree angle. I continue my cutting process. And the second stage at the top of the hair, with hair length that is, at an angle of 45 holes. By giving texture, I continue the cutting process, guys. Hair length at the peak here, based on. I continue the cutting process. Okay. After cutting the left side, the right side is the same. Front of the neck to get a long one look. Point the hair forward as a guide, with finger grip at an angle of 45 degrees. I continue the hair cutting process. We get one view that stretches from the neck to the front. After passing the second stage, diagonal, I made one distinction, and peak hair length as a guide. I continue the hair cutting process with 45 kinds of angles. I apply point cutting technique from here. As you can see, point cutting technique. Here, I comb the hair backwards, and your hair. I make it get one long view towards the front. Now dividing the hair from the peak into two main sections. I will continue the cutting process. I separated the hair in the middle. Right and left. I separated one part from the peak. Her hair is 90 degrees. I lifted it up with one angle and form a 45-degree angle from the end. I continued with the haircut. Then hair, the second part, in the same way. I lifted it at a 90-degree angle toward the exit direction, upwards. And as a cut, I created a 45-degree angle, 90-45, so 90 degrees. I lift it at a right angle. I cut the tip at a 45-degree angle. As you can see here, the front of the hair is long, back short and curved one way. Story one way. I gave the appearance. Doing my last count checks. Here is our customer's head. We bend slightly, and I check with a comb. Then I scan backwards. In the nape part, by checking with hair length, I continue to cut. Left side. After applying the right side in the same way. Scanning backwards. With the short in the nape part. Long section in the front. forming a 45-degree angle by balancing. I continue to cut. As you can see, the front was long. Backs are shorter and curved one way. Layered textured gaining 1E look. I continue to cut. Right and breadth. I'm checking. Ahum, here our haircut is over. By forming one rivety bangs on the front of the hair. We will get a short one look on the front of the hair, and we will finish our transaction. Here, your hair is from eyebrow level. Distinction triangle 1 by creating a distinction eye reception. By creating the motif, I will make one distinction from the front of the hair, creating one straight bangs. I will make it get one beautiful look. Burden. Calculating the E-gap of the nose while cutting the bangs. Again with the point cutting technique, that is, with the point cutting technique. I'm starting the haircut. And the hair slightly upwards. I gain one light bomb by scanning the side. If you want to watch my next videos too, in the videos section of my channel, you can also watch many kinds of incisions videos. So haircut coloring, ombre balayage, perm bun design. I have many categories of videos from there too. You can watch my other videos, my channels, if you want to be aware of new videos. Don't forget to activate the notification bell from my new videos. Activate the notification bell to be notified, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I would be very pleased if you like my video. One next if you like my video. Many people will have watched my video too. Many people will have watched this video thanks to you. Your likes are very important, and if you subscribe to my channel, thanks to you, our audience will grow more. I wanted to show you the latest version. As you can see, the back is long towards the front. Our bob haircut design occurred. If you want to get a haircut like this, by reaching me on social media and coming to my hall, you can get haircut service. Don't forget to like my video and subscribe to my channel. Hope to see you with one new video. Take good care of yourself. See you.
Hello friends, today, lightweight curtain, bangs, hair design. I will explain in detail how to do this. First, your hair is basic. I applied your distinctions. Then I cut the length of the hair. Here is your hair, E, by combing from behind while cutting the basic neck, with sharp line cutting technique by forming a straight line. Is straight one cut, I cut the back part, then cutting the sides in the same way as cutting the back section. The same technique I used. E, I also apply it to the E section on the left, from the hair point we cut before on the back. The guide we received. E, following on the sides. I cut them all the same size. After cutting the left side, I go to the right side. Right side in 2 pieces in 1 step, by taking 1 pinch from the hair point I cut before. The pinch over there is my guide, because 1 previous EA hair point, I cut it that size. Since it will be a guide of that size, I will cut it to the same size. I follow my guide, and we cut all the hair the same length. Our customer's E model E hair length. I apply 1 cut straight to medium size, starting from the front of the hair. First curtain on the front parts, and other parts of the light folded. We apply a moving haircut design. There will be no very busy floors. Front part, folding when making curtain cardamom from the finishing line of the eyebrow, E to the front part. I create a triangle 1 distinction by creating a purchase pattern from the end of the eyebrows to form the EE triangle in the front. By creating create a full triangle pattern. I apply folding process starting from the front part, while cutting the E section on the right. I'm going to the left. For me to capture an angle of 45 degrees more comfortably, I'm going to my customer's left, and from the left side E hair with a 45 lira combing angle. Beautiful. 1. I start the curtain frame design by folding. First I cut the right side. While cutting the right side, I pass to the left side of my customer. Here E. Diagonal to the back to create folding to the back, creating a cross distinction. Hair on the front. Scanning here, guinea cross with 1 scan style. Combing the hair to 1 single 1 point. Hereby creating a sharpening cutting technique, and this is in the front while scanning a certain point. I guide the first pinch we cut. After seeing the guide size here, as you can see, with a net 1 cutting stroke, that is, with the sharpening cutting technique, I cut and comb the hair on the front. E, because I scanned at only 1 point, and when I scan the front, the back sides are long. Front sides get 1 fold view. Her hair is too dense here, E without folding and the length of the hair. By preserving, that is, folding the front parts of the hair, for the rear sides to provide 1 view without shortening. The front of the hair to a single point, that is, we cut it 1 ago. Curtain cardamom, E with hair length. And by applying E, scanning the front to a single point. E, I created 1 cutting process. And here the back parts of the hair are long, the front parts are folded. There are also flaws in the back, but there are not very dense flaws. After cutting the right side, I go to the left side. The same technique, I apply it on the left side too. So my customer. I pass to the right side of our customer while cutting the left side. And, while creating curtain bangs, comb the hair towards a certain point, and here I cut by applying 1 angle of 45 degrees. After providing this E again, towards the back E diagonal from the peak, so cross by creating 1 cross distinction up to the neck. This distinction we created, scanning to the front. After scanning, I scan to a certain point. I'm applying a 45 lira angle again, and the curtain I cut before 1. Cardamom hair E neck. E taking the guide so that paint. I'm scanning in 1 convenient way. I see my guide, and E, I do cutting with 1 scissor stroke. Then 2, E, I take the piece 2 guinea. I scan it towards the same front part. And here I comb the hair towards a single point. hair E cut point. I take it as a guide. I scan and see your shortness there, and I cut the hair. I'm cutting it to a certain point here, for scanning and creating an angle of 45 grooves from above. Fold it towards the back because I cut it from the top, and longer one view of the backside, and shortening the length of the hair, obstructing and movable fronts folded. A long look at the back we get. If you want to get a haircut like this, my channel, a video section. You can watch our other videos, so if you want to get a haircut, social media addresses are available in the description section of my video. Reaching here, you can come to my salon and get haircutting service from me, or places in Istanbul, Beylikdüzü. Hope to see you. We will be with you with new videos. Take good care of yourself.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're tackling something pretty fascinating, I think. We're diving into this very detailed source about what it calls a triple combination haircut.
Right.
And the mission, really, is to figure out how stylists manage to blend three, quite different styles, a sharp, straight base, those really popular curtain bangs, and then soft layers all into one, seamless look.
It's a real technical dance, isn't it? And for you listening, the idea isn't just memorizing steps. It's about getting the why that angle, why that section.
Yeah, exactly.
We're basically looking at the roadmap, the specific geometry that turns these style ideas into something, well, real and structured.
Okay, let's jump right in then, because it seems like the whole thing kicks off not with cutting hair, but with setting up the head first. It talks about creating 4 mirror sections. What's that initial setup? Is it like mapping coordinates?
That's a great way to put it, actually. Yes, it's pure geometry, all about symmetry and control. Use 2 line partings. Think longitude and latitude on a map. First, there's the profile parting. That's your longitude, running straight from the forehead center all the way down the back to the nape.
Forehead to nape, got it.
Then you have the crown parting. That's your latitude line, ear to ear, straight across the top of the head.
Ah.
And where those 2 lines cross, boom, you've divided the head into 4 neat, balanced sections. These are your guides for everything that follows.
Love the map analogy. So maps down. Phase 1, the straight foundation, establishing the kind of the anchor length, starts in the back.
Precisely. You take horizontal sections there in the back, and that very first section you cut, usually the lowest one, that becomes your main guideline.
The reference point.
Exactly. The reference point for the length the client wants. And you can't really change that base length later once you start layering, so that first cut is, well, it's pretty critical.
And the source is specific about how you cut this. It calls for the blunt cutting technique. Why so specific? Why not something, I don't know, softer?
Good question. You need that structural integrity for the base, that perfect straight line. A blunt cut, just straight, clean scissor strokes gives you that.
Okay.
If you tried, say, an angled cut or texturizing here, you'd weaken that foundation. And the movement we add later, it wouldn't sit right. It might look sort of frayed at the bottom, not clean.
Right, okay. But here's something that tripped me up a bit. If the goal is one straight line, why does the source say to cut the back in multiple small steps? Isn't that layering even a tiny bit? Doesn't that contradict the straight foundation idea?
That's about managing the hair, not really traditional layering. It's more about weight distribution. You cut in manageable sections, maybe 3, 4, sometimes more if the hair is really thick to control how the hair falls.
So I just grabbed a big chunk of thick hair and tried to cut it straight across all at once?
You'd probably end up with that bulky, blocky look they talk about. It's because when you hold hair tightly, it compresses. So cutting a big, thick section means the hair underneath ends up slightly longer when you let it go. But cutting it step by step in these smaller horizontal panels, that lets it all blend smoothly as it falls.
Ah, I see.
You get the look of one clean, straight line, just without that heavy, blocky weight at the bottom.
That makes total sense. Fighting gravity and hair compression.
Okay.
Okay, so back's done, nicely blended straight line. How do you bring that same line around to the sides without messing up the balance?
You just extend that precision outwards, carry the straight base cut to the left side, then the right. Usually in about 2 sections per side.
Same blunt strokes?
Same blunt strokes. You're constantly bringing the hair forward, checking it against the guideline you made in the back. Cross-checking is key. You need that perfectly even base, back and sides aligned, ready for the next phase.
Okay, so the structure's locked in. Solid base. Now we pivot completely, right? Phase 2. Curtain bangs, moving from straight lines to curves. How do you manage that shift?
Yeah, it's a total shift. We go from the big map to the detailed map, focusing right on the front center. You part the hair down the middle again. Then you isolate a very specific triangular section for the bangs.
A triangle.
Yep. Starts right at the top center point where the profile and crown partings meet, and the triangle points down towards the eyebrows. That little triangle is everything for creating the bang shape.
Okay, and the source mentioned something I thought was really interesting about where the stylist stands. Says they should stand on the opposite side of the client. Why is that?
Oh yeah, that's a crucial little detail. It's all about control and getting the angle right for that curve.
Right.
So say you're cutting the right side of the bangs. Standing on the client's left gives you better leverage. You can pull the hair where it needs to go more easily. It helps you hit that specific angle without accidentally cutting off too much length right away. If you just stood directly in front, you might cut it too short, too blunt.
So what is the magic angle for that soft curtain bang curve? Is there a number?
There is. It's 45 degrees. You take that small triangular guide section, bring it down, sort of aiming towards the cheekbone and nose level, and cut it on that 45-degree diagonal.
45 degrees, okay.
That specific angle is what creates that soft graduation, that curve. It lets the shortest bits be near the brow, but then it flows longer, kind of sweeping towards the cheekbone.
And if someone messed up and did like a 90-degree angle?
Yeah.
Straight up.
Oh, you'd get a fringe, all right. But it would be short, probably quite harsh, maybe disconnected from the rest of the hair. Not that soft, flowing curtain bang look.
Right.
That 45 degrees keeps enough length while still framing the face. Then, of course, you mirror it exactly on the other side. The source mentions using cross-combing, pulling the right side over to check against the left, and vice versa to make absolutely sure they're symmetrical.
That precision makes sense for getting that elegant sweep. Okay, base. Check. Bangs. Dot check. Now, phase 3. Adding movement. Soft internal layers. We're back to the crown area, but the technique sounds like, well, the opposite of what we just did.
It is, in a way. That's why it's a combination cut. You repart the hair again, using that original profile parting down the middle. But now, instead of cutting down or horizontally, the key is elevation. You comb the hair straight upwards.
Straight up. Towards the ceiling. Now that seems like the big aha moment. Why upwards? Especially if you work so hard to keep that straight base length in phase 1. How does pulling it straight up preserve length?
It's a fundamental layering trick, really. Remember that blunt base cut? That established your absolute longest point, your perimeter.
Right.
By pulling a whole section vertically, straight up, and then using that existing baseline as your cutting guide way up there, you introduce layers inside the haircut. Shorter on top, longer underneath. But crucially, you don't actually change the overall length when the hair falls back down.
So if you wanted to remove length, you'd pull it out differently, maybe 90 degrees horizontally.
Exactly. Or less.
Right.
But pulling it straight up means the ends, the perimeter length you establish, stay put.
Wow, okay.
You're creating internal shape, texture, movement, all within the structure without sacrificing that foundation length. It's how you get structure and movement together. That specific elevation is the key.
So what kind of overall shape does this upward layering technique lead to?
It naturally creates a softer finish. Because you're keeping that perimeter length, especially guided by the length at the sides, the layers tend to fall into a nice oval shape or maybe a soft V shape.
Not a sharp V then.
No, definitely not. That's a deliberate choice of this technique. It avoids that really aggressive sharp V you sometimes see, which often comes from different layering methods like only cutting down the center back. Here, the goal is blended, soft volume.
The source also mentions taking diagonal back sections on the opposite side for blending. Why diagonal back?
Ah, yes. That's about integrating everything smoothly, especially around the face. Pulling sections diagonally back and cutting them helps those new internal layers connect seamlessly with the curtain bangs we cut earlier.
Makes sense.
It's like the final weaving step, making sure the base, the bangs, and the layers all look like they belong together. One fluid design.
Okay, structure, curve, movement. But we're not quite finished, are we? Because that blunt cut base, while strong, might look a bit heavy.
Absolutely. Yeah, if you stopped right there, the ends could look quite blocky, feel heavy. So the final, really essential step is refining it, texturizing.
Softening it up.
Exactly. Softening that sharp line from the blunt cut, removing some weight.
And how's that done? What tools?
This is where you typically use point cutting, sort of snipping vertically into the ends to break up the line, and maybe some thinning scissors used carefully inside the layers, not too close to the ends, to take out bulk.
Yeah.
This adds that final touch of volume and softness.
This sounds like the part that really needs a good eye, maybe more art than science.
Yeah.
Making sure you don't leave weird marks or lines.
It definitely requires skill and control, yeah. You have to be careful with combing directions, the angle you hold the scissors. If you're too aggressive or inconsistent with the texturizing, you can end up with visible demarcation lines. The goal is just natural, blended.
Yeah.
So the hair falls beautifully, has movement, feels soft. And that refinement makes this whole combination cut work for lots of different hair types, you know? Fine, thick, long, medium. It's quite versatile once finished properly.
This has been incredibly insightful. So just to recap, we started with that geometric mapping, the 4 sections. Then the solid, blunt base cut for structure, followed by the very precise 45-degree angle for the curved curtain bangs, and finishing with that upward elevation for layers that add movement without losing length. That's the essence of it. And connecting it back, the whole thing works because it treats hair like a system built on these reference points and angles.
Right. Getting structure and movement at the same time, it hinges entirely on accurate sectioning. Choosing the right elevation 45 for bangs, straight up for layers, and using the correct technique for each phase. Each step really builds on the precision of the last one.
Which brings up a final thought, something the source hinted at about geometry and flow. We talked about how this method creates a soft V or oval shape because the longest point stays at the sides. But it suggested if you wanted a sharper V, you'd pick a guide point higher up in the back.
Yeah, that's the implication. A fascinating point about how technique dictates form.
Just think about that. The difference between a soft, blended shape and a really dramatic, sharp V could just come down to where you decide that very first guide point should be. One small shift in technique, way back at the start, completely changes the final look, the perceived structure.
It really does. The whole geometry shifts based on that initial decision.
The entire flow is set by where you begin. That really is the power of understanding the technique, the mastery behind it.
Amazing how one detail cascades through the whole process.
Indeed. Well, until next time, keep looking for the geometry behind the flow.
Welcome, curious minds, to the deep dive. Today we're getting into something that looks, well, maybe simple from afar, but is actually packed with craft. We're talking about mastering the short-layered haircut. Our source is this really great video tutorial that meticulously breaks down every single move. So our mission today, it's not just listing steps. We want to really unpack the actions, reveal the artistry behind it, and maybe decode some of that technical language, because it's way more than just like grabbing scissors.
Yeah.
Right? So let's get into it. What actually goes into making a short layered haircut look so structured, yet somehow effortless?
It's fascinating, isn't it? Because that effortless look, it's completely built on precision. We're talking specific angles, really exact parts, and this whole sequence of layering techniques that are just, well, fundamental to getting the look right. It's definitely more than cutting. It's almost like engineering a style, crafting the shape where every single snip counts towards the final movement.
Right, like engineering. And I guess like any big project, you got to start with the foundations, even before you cut anything. The tutorial kicks things off by parting the hair down the middle. And it stresses this isn't just any part, it's the foundational part.
The main axis, basically.
Exactly. Then comes the profile part. For this, they make a horizontal section, starting from the crown, the high point, all the way down to the nape.
The nape being the very bottom of the hairline at the back.
Right, the back of the neck. So you have that middle part, then this horizontal one, that's the blueprint. They say it's got to be spot on.
And that precision right at the beginning, is it really that critical? Like, can't you adjust a bit later?
Well, that's the thing. The source implies these parts are like architectural drawings.
Okay.
If you mess up here, it echoes through the whole cut.
Yep.
It makes fixing things way harder down the line.
Yeah, that makes sense. So that perfectly straight part they mentioned isn't just stylistic, it's structurally necessary.
Absolutely. It sets the whole geometry, the balance, before any hair is even cut. It's like the stylist's compass for the whole thing.
Okay, so the blueprint's down. What's next? Moving from drawings to, like, the first actual piece.
Exactly. Building the first guide section. This is what sets the length for everything that follows. So after that profile part at the nape, they take another horizontal section, isolating just that bit of hair.
Yeah.
And then starting right in the center of that section, they make a perfectly straight cut. This cut is everything. It immediately becomes the first guide section, our first layer, essentially.
Right.
And this is where you really see the importance of having a guide. It becomes the benchmark, the reference point for all the length across the back.
So how does that work exactly? How does this one little cut manage to guide the whole rest of the haircut?
Well, the guide section is basically the first piece cut to length, right?
Uh-huh.
And then the stylist just keeps going back to it, measuring each new section against that first one.
Ah, okay. So it ensures everything flows together, stays consistent, no random short or long bits.
Precisely. It guarantees that continuity, stops it looking choppy or, disconnected.
Which is obviously crucial. So how does that play out as they move up the back of the head?
It's pretty methodical. For the second guide section, they just continue the process, literally using that first cut section as the guide to follow.
Okay, makes sense.
The technique they show is quite specific. Start in the middle, cut that second section straight, matching the guide, and then work outwards, left then right. And the tutorial specifically mentions using the finger over finger technique and sharp scissor strokes. So it's a very controlled way of holding and cutting.
Finger over finger. Can you maybe explain that a bit more? Like, what does that actually do?
Well, imagine your fingers acting like a ruler. Yeah.
Okay.
Holding the hair taut, flat, at the exact same angle as the guide section underneath. It keeps the tension really consistent.
Ah, so it stops the hair shifting around while you cut, even though hair naturally wants to move.
Exactly. It's how you ensure each new section perfectly matches the length of the one before it, keeping that layer consistent. It's like a physical trick for measuring on something that isn't static.
Got it. A way to control the uncontrollable, sort of.
Yeah, kinda. And this whole process, sectioning horizontally, starting in the middle, following the guide, finger over finger, it gets repeated. For the third horizontal part, same deal. And then the final section at the back. Always starting central, always watching that guide.
It sounds almost ritualistic. That repetition is key for uniformity across the whole back.
It really is. I mean, watching it, you realize how much precision goes in. I used to think haircuts were just, a bit of snipping here and there.
Yeah, definitely more to it than that.
So, okay, the back is meticulously layered and shaped. Now we move to the front. Right, the parts that frame the face.
Which is often what people notice first.
Totally. So how does the guide system work for the front? Is it the same?
A little different here. The tutorial says they use the starting points of the eyebrows at nose level as the reference. This helps them create a vertical part, which forms a sort of triangular shape right at the front hairline.
A triangle. Interesting. So that triangle is the guide for the face framing.
Yeah, that specific section sets the length and angle for the sides.
And how do they cut it? The video mentions something about angles.
Right, so when cutting the right side of the face, the stylist actually moves over to the client's left side.
Oh, okay, to get a better view.
Exactly. From there, they can clearly see that guide point in the triangular section. They comb the hair down and cut the layers using a 35-degree angle, working from top to bottom.
45 degrees. Why that specific angle?
Well, that 45-degree angle is what creates softness. It makes the layers cascade or blend into each other, rather than forming a hard, blunt line. It builds that movement right around the face.
Ah, so it's deliberately chosen for that softer blended effect? Makes sense.
Precisely. And then they just mirror the process for the other side, move to the client's right to cut the left side, maintaining that same 45-degree angle.
And does the angling stop there, or?
No, there's a bit more. They also apply layering from the apex.
The highest point on the head.
Yeah, the top curve. From the apex down towards the ear level and blending towards the back, they also use that 45-degree angle referencing that front section.
Wow. Okay. So it's all interconnected, flowing from that initial front guide.
It really is. It ensures the front and sides blend seamlessly into the work they did on the back. And that client positioning, moving around them, it's not just for comfort.
Right. You said it helps maintain the angle and perspective.
Yeah, ensures accuracy. Makes you wonder, like, what if they used a 90-degree angle there?
Ooh, yeah. You'd get something much more dramatic, maybe disconnected looking. Less soft, for sure.
Definitely less soft. Probably quite severe.
Okay, so back foundation, check. Face frame, check. Now we're on to what the source calls the art of the crown. Sounds important.
It sounds like the most complex part, judging by the description.
It seems like it. The stylist starts by making a big U-shaped part around the crown area. And this basically divides the hair into two main zones. A top section inside the U and the bottom section outside it.
A major division then. Probably for managing bulk and flow up there.
That sounds right. So first, they tackle layering the bottom section, the part outside the U. They create vertical parts starting from the left side. Then the hair is combed out following its natural growth direction. But here's a key difference. It's held at a 90-degree angle from the head.
90 degrees. Okay, so straight out from the scalp.
Exactly, straight out.
And that angle, what's the purpose of that specific lift?
Well, that 90-degree lift is what builds internal volume. It creates, like, hidden layers underneath that give the hair body a movement from within. It stops it looking flat.
So that's how they get that movable quality they keep mentioning. It's not just the visible layers.
Right, it's the internal structure. And they use the length we cut on the bottom section as my guide. So again, building on previous work.
Always referencing back.
Always. And they mention using the point cutting technique here to match the guide.
Point cutting. It's snipping into the ends, right? Not cutting straight across.
Yeah, exactly. It softens the edge, helps it blend better, gives it texture.
So it avoids any hard lines inside the layers.
Seems like it. And this whole process vertical part, comb out at 90 degrees, use the guide, point cut is repeated really carefully, strand by strand, section by section, moving left to right around that lower crown area.
That 90-degree angle is so fundamental for volume. I remember when I was learning, getting that consistent lift straight out from the head. It looks simple, but it's kind of tricky to do perfectly section after section. That's where the practice really shows.
I bet. Okay, so that's the bottom section of the crown layered for volume. What about the top section, inside the U?
This sounds even more detailed.
It is. The tutorial says the middle and top section, the crown itself, is cut in 3 main sections.
3 sections just for the top.
Wow. After dividing it vertically down the middle first, so 3 parts to handle. For the middle one of those 3, they start from the back, again using the length underneath as the guide. Comb the hair up at that 90-degree angle again, and use point cutting on the ends. But here they mention cutting it in a first and second level.
First and second level, what does that mean?
It seems like they address the back part, that middle section first, maybe for internal structure, and then refine the front part of the same section to make sure it blends smoothly whether the hair falls forward or back.
Like sculpting it in 2 passes almost.
Yeah.
Very precise.
Very. Then for the second section on the left side, they comb it upward, 90 degrees again presumably, and use point cutting. And finally, the right side. This is also cut in 2 levels. They use the first cutting point from the middle section as the guide for the first level.
Okay, connecting it all.
Yeah. Then they comb the hair upward at 90 degrees for the second level and make the final point cuts.
The real genius there seems to be how that 3-part division and the 2-level cutting creates that perfectly blended top layer.
Right.
It's all about distributing the weight and length so carefully
Yeah.
that you avoid any steps or visible lines. Everything just flows together naturally.
It prevents that blocky, heavy look you can sometimes get on top.
Exactly. It's this intricate dance of angles and layering to get that seamless, fluid result. Pretty amazing stuff.
Phew. Okay, after all that detailed layering, surely they must be done.
Almost. There's one last crucial stage, the quality check and the final styling.
Quality control. Makes sense. What do they do?
The stylist specifically says they comb the hair upward to check for any mistakes. It's like the final inspection.
Looking for any little bits sticking out?
Yeah, any small unevenness or irregularities. If they find any, they tidy them up using that point cutting technique again.
Softening those edges one last time.
Exactly, perfecting the blend. And then, once everything is perfect, comes the styling.
And how do they style it?
Because the whole point was to create a movable, layered cut. They blow dry it with outward movements.
Outward. To show off the layers.
Precisely. To really demonstrate that movable and layered appearance. The drying isn't just about getting it dry. It's about showcasing the result of all that work.
The grand reveal.
Pretty much. And the result. A layered, movable, short hair design has emerged.
You know, looking back at the whole process, it really puts that final blow dry into perspective.
Absolutely. It's not just drying the hair. It's the moment where all that hidden skill, every single precise cut and angle, becomes visible. It shows why the hair moves the way it does.
It reveals the architecture underneath.
Perfectly put. It turns the static cut into something dynamic and alive. Without that final styling touch, a lot of the artistry would just stay hidden.
So reflecting on this whole journey, we've gone from those foundational parts, setting guys, meticulous angles, point cutting. It reveals just how much goes into what looks like an effortless style.
It's definitely not effortless to create.
No. It shows that this kind of result isn't just about having good hair. It's a testament to incredible skill, foresight, precision. Just like in any complex craft, really.
Which brings up a bigger point, doesn't it? Beyond just this haircut, what does this deep dive show us about craft itself?
How so?
Well, it shows how these tiny, almost invisible details, the exact angle, the precise part, the type of cut, when they're executed flawlessly, they all add up. They coalesce into something singular, dynamic, and beautiful.
That's a great way to put it. It's the sum of all those tiny, perfect steps.
Exactly. It's about that power of deliberate, skilled execution making the difference, whether it's hairstyling or, building a bridge.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for joining us on this very detailed deep dive into the short layered cut. Hopefully next time you see a really great short haircut out there, you'll have a new appreciation for the hidden details, the planning, and the sheer precision that likely went into it. Until next time, keep looking closely at the crafts around you. You might just be amazed at the artistry you uncover.
Straight haircut for you today, asterisk, and light layered. Hair design, how to do it. I will explain it in detail. 1. First, we create a profile separation. Profile separation from the beginning of the forehead to the neck, asterisk E. Straight horizontal is one distinction, asterisk, straight. One distinction up to this nape point, from the peak, after that separation, E. We make a triangular distinction, as you can see, asterisk, our comb, E, triangle. Yes, we put it from the beginning of the forehead and your back triangle 1 from the point it touches E. I'm creating a purchase modifier. Distinction, here eyes. Now this distinction, I will apply it for the folding process on the front of the hair. 2. The front section I'm collecting here, and we will determine the length of the hair in the rest, asterisk, here. We divide the hair into 2 main sections, asterisk, as you can see here, asterisk. I show my point and create a horizontal separation from the back. This will be the basic distinction of our E. Haircut friends are here, so we will form the basis of the hair E. We will determine the length of the higher here. We created a horizontal distinction. We divided the hair into sections with 2 meanings. That is, 3 meanings, asterisk, 2 on the back. 1 on the front, after creating the separation, yes, we are starting our haircut here, we will determine the length of the hair, asterisk, I. Will create 1 E distinction from the middle part E, vertical E, I. Will create 1 distinction and start my haircut from there. Asterisk, I just start in the middle. Asterisk. As you can see, I created a vertical distinction here. Will be our guide. In accordance with this guide from the hair length, I have determined asterisk, so I will cut the other parts the same way. Yes, here, as you can see, our haircut in the middle, after creating the right and left, are the same. Asterisk, I. Determine the same size straight. One way we do it, by combing, backwards cutting, and seeing my guide E. I'm moving here, the guide is always for us. Progressive asterisk, it will prevent us from cutting the hair, crooked asterisk E. We progressed gradually, 1 asterisk E, operation. Guide, always follow the guide. In the guide more useful for us. 1 system will be so, if you go according to the guide. You will useful 1, there will be a haircut asterisk 2. Discuss yes asterisk 2 after creating horizontal separation asterisk, starting from the middle part. 1 The hair point we cut before will be our guide, asterisk, continuing with the same guide. We determine the hair length here. We saw our guide at the bottom asterisk with our comb. and between fingers asterisk with sharp horse cutting technique. That is, with straight scissor stroke, we get one flat image. I cut the middle part here, asterisk, as you can see from the middle my cut guide I equate with the pieces I bought from the left side asterisk here is a straight one cut by combing the hair backwards. I'm creating then asterisk after cutting the left side. The right side is also asterisk. I cut it straight one way. I'm scanning backwards now. In the middle part asterisk, I continue with the guide we have created, asterisk backwards. Again, in the same way, I had also separated the third level and combing the hair backwards asterisk 1 with the hair guide I cut before asterisk. Did I cut it by continuing in the same way? I continue after this process. We cut the hair length asterisk, so we created our foundation. Clean it. After creating our foundation, we will start with hair folding asterisk here. Her hair is divided into slices. Slices now separating as slices, we will start our folding process. Yes, we start this process after creating the foundation, so after you remember the length of your hair one more without shortening the hair, how to fold we will show asterisk as you can see here. I'm starting from the middle part of the guinea asterisk, and as you can see from the bottom asterisk 1 I created one vertical piece and comb the hair according to the direction of hair exit no. After scanning upwards asterisk, you see the shortest point at the bottom asterisk. He is our guide. In accordance with this guide, I'm creating a folding process asterisk. I'm combing the hair towards the exit direction. This is our best asterisk. We have a long point, the guide of the hair, that is the length of the hair. Without cutting that length, I cut the other long sections and equalize them together. Asterisk downstairs. One same way as a guide. I'm scanning upwards at a 90-degree angle towards the exit direction of the hair and seeing the cover on the bottom. I cut by applying point cutting technique asterisk, as you can see. I cut 2 first steps, then I bought one piece again from the next episode asterisk, and your hair is growing. And I cut it in accordance with its structure and comb the hair asterisk. I see the level at the bottom and I continue my cutting in this lower part seeing your hair length slice. My hair, I'm applying a folding process, always one asterisk. I'm one hairless from the previous part. Friends, combing the hair asterisk, I see it at the bottom, and one. I cut it, first seeing the hair point and the sword, I took hair. I cut it, then equalize it with the guide at the bottom. Yes, as you can see at the bottom, I saw the guide, so the guide asterisk after. Seeing hair length, I combed the hair upwards, and I cut it in accordance with the hair length. As you can see, I saw your hair length. I saw the guide, and I cut it with the dot cutting technique. When we cut with point cutting technique, hair, flyworms. In triangle form, asterisk sections are formed, which provides one more natural transition to the hair this way now. I comb the hair, as you can see, after seeing our hair on the bottom asterisk. I'm cutting to the point cutting technique here. As you can see in zigzag form, asterisk, I cut, and sections are formed. Cut. When I cut it with technique, this is more of your layers in the haircut asterisk. In one way intertwined divides, one more homogeneous distribution. Yes, as you can see at the bottom, with the point cutting technique, after seeing the guide neck at the bottomy now, I cut it by syncing with other sections. Here we created the folding section in haircut asterisk now. the section for folding the front parts of the hair asterisk, I will create the part that I have separated from the middle part of the hair asterisk. As you can see, I'm creating one horizontal distinction again, and one from the hair point. I cut before I'm getting a guide, and in the same way as this guide guinea scanning upwards. Then I combine the guide and we continue my folding process. Asterisk, we see our guide, as you see, and I cut with the dot cutting technique, VE asterisk 1. I create a guinea diagonal 1 distinction in the next section of first. I'm getting a guide from the hair point I cut, and as you can see here, triangle 1 form appears guinea burden, asterisk. I'm scanning upwards again, and after seeing our cover E, we continue the cutting process, asterisk, and again in the same way. After cutting the left side in the same way on the right side, I create a diagonal 1 distinction, and I scan upwards. I see my guide, and I keep cutting asterisk after cutting this front part, scanning upwards 1 check balance, and now I apply asterisk. Is the hair length on the top equal to each other? Now all over again, combing all the hair upwards. Hair length. Is there a mistake in the hair spots we cut? I'm checking VE asterisk. I apply the point cutting technique hair here, both straight. 1. Cut, created and created, both folding process, and after the folding process occurs, asterisk, I'll make movement asterisk. I will do this folding process again, and now in which direction our model has divided, determine an asterisk. I will create 1 folding operation according to the fall. Here, asterisk, I determine the peak of the hair, and from here I'm creating a triangle. 1 form here. Here is the hair point at the end of the eyebrow. I determine our buying motivations here. 1 distinction we form in triangle, form VE, end of eyebrows, asterisk, from the point where the comb touches. So we form triangle 1. Here I cut the rest of the hair back, and here I then combing the 3 parts of the hair by combing the upward line, asterisk, and I cut, and when I scan backwards 3, we give movement to light hair in parts, as you can see. You can use both straight moving 1 hair design if you want to get a haircut like this, fold, and straight haircut if you want to design asterisk by reaching me from my social media addresses. My social media addresses available in the description section of my video. By reaching my hall from here, you can get haircut service, asterisk. Don't forget to like my video and subscribe to my channel. Friends, I will be with you with new videos, asterisk, our straight, lightweight, layered haircut design with you, as you can see, like my video and subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to be. I wish you a good day. Take care of yourself, asterisk. See you soon.
Hello to you today. How to make pixie haircut design? I will explain it in detail. I create the basic distinctions, as the first distinction always separates the hair cutie, determines exactly clearly of the basic distinctions. Well, it's very important, not first. I create E-profile distinction profile, distinction forehead from the beginning straight separation where we are separated to the occipital area, I'll say. profile separation. The second distinction is Thednully distinction, is also from the top point ouching. The tip of our comb from the point where his back touches starting, saw from the temple regions and according to other temple from one temple to another. U-shaped distinction we have separated. Can also say E-hair after creating this distinction we have divided into two main sections, see bottom and top first. Starting from the bottom of E-way, we'll start the cutting process at the bottom. I will create a horizontal separation from the neck. E neither too thick nor too. The knee in linea after, creating a horizontal separation E. We are starting our hair QT from the anxy part between fingers, as much as our finger can talk a touch. Your hair neck V, start cutting at an angle of 45 degrees E. First the little E on the nape after, cleaning small hair with a shaver across way diagonal E from the nape. Part by creating distinction C no. I start the cutting process these. 3 points I cut will be a guide for me dot by following this guide. Your higher going up step by step. I keep cutting burra. Yes, I touch my finger on the skin of the hair and E finger E high T. I cut it down at an angle of 45 degrees to. The second stage after cutting, I'm creating a horizontal distinction in. Guinean following the hair point I had cut before E, and I cut in the same planiso. I cut it the same size E here again. E now starting. From the right 45 degree cross separations with one beat creating E noothing is happening as I see. The hair spot I cut before it's suitable for the E part therein. The same E step by step in plan starting right to left. Eno. I am applying my cutting process got married. Didn't get it. It stayed on my head. From my head, I didn't. Want it all by myself, yes, no. After getting to the middle part T, an hour, from right to left T, I cut I. Stop after I get to the middle and D. Same way left, right, left side. That is, everyone is in the middle 80 unity 45 degrees. From the right, from the left side again, in a middle way of 45 degrees E. I'm shortening it to come because the angle on the right, and the angle on the left because the hair. Direction is different E. I'm cutting the right side until the middle part then I quittin'. I start guinea from the left side E guinea at a general 45 degree angle thentet part toe. Cut the guinea to the middle in the same way I'm going. To the third level. Friends dot in the third stage. The hair point that I cut before E, I'm cutting E's. I will start cutting Berta, yes and more click from a point. IQT will change the finger angle. I set my finger to 45 degrees then, waiting again so, E 45. Degrees to come E, I take the hair point I cut before Andy hour. Hair E, at a 45 degree angling cutting here friends occipital 4. Coming to the top of the region toe the occipital area so, I'm applying a short cut, then when I come to the top. In the last two parts so, the length of the hair is a little longer E for applying a 45 degree angle E. It doesn't happen in the same shortness. It goes from short to long so you didn't have a drug thingies. Exactly like fat well, always have to pay attention to it. E as you can see, the higher parts became longer. I'm setting the angle Horacio because I cut it at 45 degree angles that he automatically came towards the top until it comes. E hair gets a longer look because the neck is short. The upper comb is a layered cutchered hair, a longer look at the top between people. There is nothing left between us. Ignorant mercy nothing left, became like Afghanis. So Islam neck part up to ear level I. Cut the same way peak point with Donner Nithiso. What is this cruelties? Now when my son grows up can't, he travel with his friend so. He can't do anything so. What are we going to do now that boy as you can see, I came from the right to the left. Same from the left. I'm moving to the right at 45 degree angles he's cut after doing it. The sides remained on the back. You saw this from the top of the sides taking a subtle distinction from the hair point on the back eye. Take the guide and the guidea thin curtain at the topium, cutting the mirror size starting from the front after. Cutting this same length creating diagonal divisions again E. The curtain, at the top of these distinctions in shape, the sword. I took from the back how I'm coming back you see at the topi, created a guide for myself, like this guide with diagonal. Diagonal divisions down I cut by following in E, here on the right and lefty. I keep the hair length and without making mistakes I continue the hair length as you can see 2 hair points E complemented each thurso. From the topi, a thin curtain. Shape D I set a point for myself and, with the bottom as you can see, 45 the upper part of the middle party. Cut with degrees after cutting right and left no. We're at the top guys in the hill creating a crown separation again E on the hill creating. A crown separation to the ear since one ear, and he divided the top into 2 main sections so. This is on the top now so guinea by this time. I'm creating a vertical distinction after creating this vertical separation found at the bottom. I see the haircut I found, but what am I doing here? Eat a vertical angle of 90 degrees according to the direction of hair E. Scan most E after scanning yourself E, after seeing my guide at the extreme with the sharpening cutting technique. That is, straight scissors I cut with a blow you are arresting. It's a shame for the young people to suppress those goals well. It seems to me that he can't press the young people. This 2 crown separation of the region where I create him cutting the first Gino. How far? So many people who put it in jail. How far, baby? How far exact lies here? As a guide, always the previous hair point we cut by following friends never. Forget this always guide you appropriately. You move forward without making any mistakes. You will have a proper haircut. Isn't he in the mood to use it? Yes, as you can see from the top upwards. Created a vertical separation from the beginning of the forehead and hair front starting from the back until you reach the stag again at the exit. Point of the hair as you can see. I scan upwards and E 90 degree. Output scanning angling to E from the hair point we cut before after. Seeing my guide with straight scissor stroke key. Hair at right angles according to the direction of hair exit cut at an angle of 90 degrees and I cut it with straight scissors service size 2 after cutting the middle part. This is the right and left part equally to the hair. Points EE gain at 90 degree angles according to the direction of hair exit E, scanning direction 90 degrees 90 degrees as a right angle from the exit direction of the hair with angle. So now I'm doing a haircut. I always follow my guide the previous hair point. I cut in my guide to continue in the same guide. My cutting process I continues a use and eyes. Exactly. There is something like this. The Kiranyas here. Ilway's sharp horse cutting technique. That is, straight scissor blow, I apply it. So after the haircut is over same way. I will apply thinning to the ends of the hair as you can see here. I cut the right side. I'm going to the left now in the hair point. I wanted before slice starting from the back to the front slice. By slice oak. Okay, look at them, they say, honest eyes. The hair point I cut before after C&G praying. Can such a thing happen? I cut with face scissors, service doing something going. Now I'm creating a vertical separation VZ previous options I, comb the hair in front of the exit. Stepping upper open and arrow eyes. Yes, just like every teacher if you go but the teacher also tells him what he wants to do after cutting the process. Now I come to the forefront guinea. The same way I'm creating a vertical separation creating a vertical scanning angle I. Continue my hair QT. They did something for example. My mother would tell and I know it back up and the front is the same way coming upwards. I combine it with the hair point. I cut poured into the sea. He but now the man was a soldier in the Second World War hid it for this. Think it may be moldy thing. Can be neat wife can be tiredies after cutting this cutting process is over guys know. Add texture to the hair soften our aim. Is to ensure the transitions of haircut here starting from the width with the E-file scissor C comb. First with comb I. As you can see here I use a dark comb when cutting hair light color D. My comb is dark E. Light-colored combi dark comb on light hairy. In dark eye-colored Hyrus, light-colored comet will be more advantageous for you. Here is your hair. So you can see the hair more clearly. Better in straight cuts E. Can make clear cut your hair is Arabic, as you can see at the ends hirine parts with effile scissorsto. From the bottom end parts of the hair thinning the hair with effile scissorsto. Be healthier in the traces of hair scissors on the hair, prevent it from happening softness, ends of the hair be blocking it with net scissors, because it softens see more hair transitions. Hair evenly distributed together prevents scissors from forming in this way. The hair is more beautiful. Now they have all taken refusing. You have short hair, too short haircut, designixie, long layered, hair QT, redder shadow honey E hair. Coloring if you want to receive services such as color change in the Cops Me social media, addresses in the description part of my video will. The hair cutting service by reaching my salon from Hair.ao can get to you soon. Where did he distribute them? All over the countries, yes, yes, no. I apply the thinning process will be one by one on social media. These conversations after the thinning process is over. I will apply the blow dry process and finish our design starting from the neck, hair progressing step by step to the ends of the hair. And the net scissors. I'm thinning purpose of thinning hair. Uniform distribution to each other and the transitions are more beautiful in this way. Your hair grows and grows together, not a hard imagined, a more beautiful. Imagine happens, and it makes it happen, and there are soft transitions. Don't apply any files to the bottoms of the hair. Here I only apply the net scissors to the ends of the hair. Yes, and after applying the movie stream, 2 are finishing our transaction. We also have the forming process as the last process. Our hair design by applying the blow dry process final image TOE will show you. I hope you liked my video. Thank you so much for watching till the end. I will be with you with new videos. You guys have a short haircut and other hairstyles. If you want to get service, you can reach me on social media Instagram now when you type Sirkin Kylan hairdresser from Google. From there you can easily reach my contact information. You can also reach it on WhatsApp. You can also reach it on Instagram. You can also reach it on TikTok. You can reach me on many social media platforms now. Then forget to like my video and subscribe to my channel. I will be you with new videos. Take good care of yourself. See you soon.
Hello friends! To you today, Bob Haircut Desig. I will explain in detail how it is done. Our model's hair is THI short here, starting from the width and with a light one diagonally angle. There will be one bob haircut model that grows slightly forward. It won't be too extreme. First, we start with basic distinctions when cutting. Our first basic distinction is profile separation. Profile separation. From the beginning of the forehead, starting straight as one line, until the end of the neck, of the occipital region straight line to the end. We say profile separation, creating our first profile distinction. After creating a profile separation too, the distinction of the crown separation is also one. From ear to ear, head to the end start and end to the endo. The distinction we create, we call it crown separation. Crown separation, to separate our guinea comb. Guinea start from here. Starting from the starting point of the back, from the point it touches. As you can see, I'm starting to distinguish from this point from the exact peak point. This is already at the point where the crown separation occurs automatically, forming these distinctions the basic distinctions of hair. We divide the hair into four main sections. When you make these distinctions one on your next haircut, our model is the same. Perfectly. You can cut. 2. Our model is It will be to determine the hair length. We will separate our guide from the first nape part here. Our model's head while cutting her first hair. Very little forward. We want to give bird. From the enzyme part, I created one horizontal line. And now here we will create the guide of our hair. Our guide is important to us. Guide means the starting point of the hair. And continue after creating this cutoff point. The hair point we will. You can also specify shorter if you want. Longer if you want. As your own preference. You can determine the length yourself with your customer. We are here our model is fuller. For your hair to be, I will determine one shortness according to him. And we will continue in that short. Just like that. Your hair. Reverse exits here. Here in 3 parts. Reverse exits on the neck. Based if you cut. It would be much better for you. When you cut here. Then and when you blow dry or. So when you comb the hair. Lines here your hair. In shaping. Provides great influence. These. It will be much better if you cut it with your eyes. I also took these exits into account. I will check and cut accordingly. Here while cutting. Using my comb as a ruler and I cut it at an angle of 0 degrees. First I'll finger this comb 6. Sharp horse cutting technique we call one. I will apply with technique. This angle is 0 degrees. Yeah Berta yeah. You can also cut between fingers. But if you want to cut 0 degrees without any angle, so too, you definitely need to apply comb 6 hair cutting technique. Even when you cut it with a finger. You give one angle. Straight cut here. You think you did it, but even your finger. Light has 1 millimeter, one angle. You need to consider this too. Of course in wavy hair, according to the structure of the hair 100/100ths. We can't comb 6 haircuts. That's why you know straighter hair. Comb 6 according to the direction of exit of the hair. Combing. Here I cut according to the natural fall of the hair. Here using my comb like a ruler. I'm starting to conclude. I created a guide for myself from the middle part here. As you can see this guide. The left and right sides are the same. I will cut at the same level. My error rate is 0 here too. Because I use my comb like a ruler. Yes too. I'm going to the stage. I'm creating one horizontal distinction in guinea. What a thick distinction here. How thin you can cut one way. Without making mistakes. When you progress gradually, hair is uniformly distributed. Either scissors nor scissors on the hair. Your rate of making mistakes is very low. Now we are giving an angle to the hair in the second level. Friends, here with my finger, I'll give you a 45-degree angle here. Horizontal 45-degree. I cut by creating an angle. To create this angle, Telugu, I scan by holding it from the bottom and, according to our guide here, we see our guide cut at the bottom. As you can see, and I touch my little finger down. The angle here is 45 degrees. It's an angle, friends. Space here. I look from here, I see my guide and our guide. A beginning of the beginning. I cut it this size after seeing it. Here's a little bit of the nape of the hairy. We are doing a folding process. This is ear hair is more stingy fuller, and this. An expression we call bomb. To create it, a technical friend we applied. Combing the hair at its own angle. Looking down with my finger. I'm worth it after seeing this angle. I cut with sharp horse cutting technique. Here you are progressing gradually. I cut one from the right section. Now I will cut from the left section. Same way. I see my sword as you see from the bottom again, and I'm looking from the neck. I'm cutting. Because we made an angle cut here. We'll check again later, guys. After cutting, there may be slight lengths on the right and left. Repeat it. Use it as a ruler with a comb and a guy. I'm cutting. Now we are entering our third distinction, guinea horizontal. We make a distinction. We will create one vertical distinction from the middle part a guy. I always start from the middle part, friends, haircut, because this is my guide. We distribute our guide evenly. And here we are, because we are progressing gradually. Our rate of making mistakes is very low. My finger a guy. I touch it from the bottom and cut 45 holes horizontally. After creating, with sharp horse cutting technique, I'm cutting. I'm scanning. Here I see my guide from the bottom of it. Guide is very important, guys. You see with the guide here, I see the hair point I passed before like. My guide from here, I see my guide at the bottom. And your hair according to this guide. Scanning by direction of fall. I see my sword and I continue with the cut. I will do this in the same way on the right side. Head of our model. Thought after setting. Always while cutting hair here. With our model, we need to be on the same plane. We need to look in the same direction. I'm scanning. I see my guide from the bottom here. As you can see, this is also while cutting hair. If you get as much hair as your finger again, your rate of making mistakes will be very low. I'm scanning after seeing my guide. And I see my guide here from that Virgo point. And after seeing our guide below, again at an angle of 45 TL, I'm cutting. Now friends 3. After cutting our territory, we have passed the occipital regio. Here after opening the ledge, we have come to the top. In the E section here, we will add a little more volume to the hair. And we will apply a folding process. Here your hair, both busy and to give a more beautiful one look. We also change our angle. Here we are applying horizontal 45 whole angles. When we get to this top, we will continue our haircut with vertical 45 whole angles. We give the head of our model